An elephant on the river Girwa. We had boarded the forest department boat. Shailendra Singh was discussing the ride route. Our navigator Guddu chipped in. Sir, I cannot take you through that channel. Elephants are active there, and this boat cannot reverse. Was Guddu joking with us? Why would we need to reverse? Wouldn't we be in the water and quietly watch the elephants at the edge? Mysterious are the ways of the people who live in the jungle, I told myself. Guddu slowly maneuvered the boat. I was with a group of people who were experts in turtles, crocodiles, river dolphins, all species aquatic. The river was wide and full to the brim. We were on the Girwa River in Katarnia Ghat Wildlife Sanctuary on an 8-kilometer stretch, a mere 8-kilometer stretch between two barrages, one of the richest river stretches in the world, where gharials bred, Gangetic dolphins swam, tigers and elephants drank, river turtles and muggers sunned, and a wide variety of birds flew and fished. On our left was India, right Nepal, and on both sides were forests of majestic trees. It was a beautiful late afternoon at the end of February, and there was a slight breeze. About about half an hour into our journey, look there, behind that tree, there's a tusker. Gudu told us urgently. All five of us strained our eyes and binoculars. While the tusker was large, the grasses were taller, and the trees gigantic. Soon, everybody had seen the elephant, and I was getting desperate. The big elephant had simply melted in the grasses. Finally, I had a glimpse. It was a magnificent animal, a king, and then it disappeared again. After a couple of minutes, he is at the river. Gudu had the eyes. Our binoculars helped us see him. He was at the edge. He seemed to be approaching the river for a drink. Then he entered and almost immediately disappeared underwater. His head bobbed out. He was now well inside the river. Is he swimming? I exclaimed. Nobody responded. It seemed everybody was transfixed. I still couldn't believe it. I knew that elephants could swim, but to actually see it swim in front of us was difficult to believe. The tusker was an impressive one, but the river mighty and broad. Was he actually trying to swim across? He disappeared again to appear further ahead, his broad forehead and curved trunk tip with the tips of his tuskers coming out more or less together, releasing his breath with a bit of a water fountain and then taking a breath in to dip completely in. He was soon well into the river, and it was clear that he was swimming across. I still couldn't believe it. Gudu cut the engine and let our boat slowly move closer to the elephant, playing with the natural current of the river. We were still quite far away, but now we could observe him with our eyes. It seemed he had hit a shallow patch. Though 70% of his body was still underwater, we could make out he was walking. Shailendra who was sitting quiet all this time, told us that the river was made of two channels. The narrow one close to India typically had water throughout the year, and the broader one, where we were, was often dried up, or there was just enough water for people to wade through. But this depended on the rains and on the release of the water from the upper barrage. The Tusker was walking across the stretch that separated the two channels. Then he was swimming again. He now had about 70% of the distance to cover. His swimming style reminded me a bit of the breaststroke. The head came out, he released and took his breath and dipped again. His trunk was acting like a breathing periscope. Every time he went down, you wondered how would he manage to come up. But come up he did, and slowly and surely he moved towards the other bank. Unable to keep that rare joy within, people on the boat, including me, were talking, were describing that incredible sight. Then, suddenly, I thought I heard something. Shh! Can we hear him? I had heard something, but I wasn't sure. The boat went silent. He was underwater. We waited. As his trunk tipped and forehead emerged from the river, we heard a gentle whoosh. We could hear him breathe. It was a distant sound, but at that moment, it seemed like the whole landscape could hear him. And then he went underwater again. Now we watched in complete silence and listened. Slowly, in that February winter late afternoon light, he swam across the wide expanse. Soon he had reached the other bank, but like a child, he did not seem to want to get out. For a couple of minutes, he hung around there, spraying water all over himself, his body wet and glistening in the late afternoon sun, the giant trees dwarfing his magnificent size. Slowly, a bit reluctantly, he climbed up the bank, entered the forest, turned to his right, and started to walk away. We continued to watch him for some time, and then he disappeared in the grass, and the jungle. Actually, melted. Now I knew why Guru had said he wouldn't take his boat into that channel. That his boat couldn't reverse. Thank you. This is Piyush, and I hope you enjoy.
For which the same Tusker who hits Forest Department signed. Imagine suddenly you see him emerging close to a boat. It's like a gale.
Because when he
pushes the water out, you can hear that. Do you hear that?
Yes.
थक गया ना इस बार, कर देते हैं।